starting soon.
What purpose?
Hold on. We're live. We're
Are
live. I can hear me. Can I hear you?
Can you hear me? I can hear me. I can hear you
It's
too.
time to light the ceremonial.
Dun, dun,
Oh, having
dun,
a fan
dun,
on was a bad idea.
Dun, 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 dun.
Protect the incense. Here, protect the incense from the fan.
I will protect your flame.
Thanks. Hold on.
I guess I
Oh,
should be.
that didn't work. Can't see what I'm doing. I just need to get it burning. That way.
It's burning.
Oh, what? Wait. We gotta get a nice ember going. Having a fan on top was really.
Why don't you move it to where there's no fan?
All right, we're good. Now you're not gonna see the incense. This is purely for my pleasure. And I do mean mine because Joe doesn't. Well, you don't dislike. Control yourself, Joe. Now, welcome to the Jonathan Show, where it's all about Jonathan and his passed out brother Joe.
I'm not high. I promise.
All right, but I did have a thing that I wanted to talk to you about because you are now 20.
Oh man, I'm 20.
You're 20, and so you are now officially old enough to vote.
I've been officially old enough to vote for 2 years, John.
Right, but you could not vote in the last election, is what I'm saying.
I did vote in the last election.
Presidential election, Joe.
Mickey Mouse, yo.
Presidential election, Joseph.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, like I was saying,
Sorry.
so now you get to witness the spectacle of all that is the Republican primary and make a decision for who you're. Wait, are you registered for vote to vote?
No. I need to. I'm unaffiliated.
So
I am registered. I'm unaffiliated.
So you're not a part of a party.
No, and
Not
I
any
regret
party.
that because we're closed in Pennsylvania.
So who would you have voted for had you been? Had you had the chance? Who would you have affiliated with?
I kind of want to become a Democrat just so I can vote against Hillary Clinton twice.
That what? How would you do it twice? No, don't do that, you weirdo.
It's a good plan. If all the Republicans became Democrats, we could vote against Hillary Clinton.
Yes, but then who would vote for the Republican primary? Who would vote for that person?
Everyone who didn't follow my plan.
So either
It's a
your
good
plan is
plan.
incredibly effective and everyone joins the Democrats and then nobody can vote for a Republican, or it's incredibly ineffective and you make no difference whatsoever.
That's kind of my point in life, to make no difference.
Well, I'm glad you're on a fast track for that, Joe.
I am. Thanks. I
That's-
try really hard to do nothing.
I know. Well, I'm trying to set a good bar for you here by looking like a wannabe professor for Yale.
Your ponytail's not long enough.
I'm working on it, but unfortunately, no. See, I'm actually going the other direction.
Yeah,
which is
but you need to shave here. It's
I'm going to be
like
the cool bald hipster.
Just
Is what I'm
you
going to
need
do.
something right here. You can't have it like the whole way up.
No, but see, no. Look, I'm going bald on top, right? So I cannot grow a ponytail without looking really weird and gross.
That's modern professors.
No, because modern professors that have ponytails are generally not bald on top. So, and besides, I tried growing my hair out, and like my hair gets about that long before it just stops. It just stops and just gives up. It's like, I can pull it down to like here and then no more.
I think you're jealous of my luscious curls, which I don't have.
You don't have any luscious curls.
At the moment.
Now, you know I was referred to as Napoleon Dynamite when I was in college.
Don't brag about that.
I was. Like my best friend from college, we met because he called me Napoleon Dynamite. He was like, "Hey, Napoleon Dynamite." I would pretend I was really pissed at him, but he thought I was being serious. Until one day when I was doing laundry and I was half naked as a result, and I just walked into his room because his room was right next to the laundry room, and I plopped down on his bed half naked, and I was like, "What's up, bro?" And then we were best friends. We're still good friends.
Was this Nick?
No.
Because that would explain a lot.
No, that was Aaron.
You're welcome, Nick.
No, Nick and I are friends because he was trying to pick up women and I was dating a girl that he met and was hitting on.
Chantel?
don't like give away the name of every person in my life, Joe.
By the way, I like to name drop. Donald Trump.
Actually, she went by Shanae for short.
I actually met a girl in Norway called named Shanae. Weirdest thing ever.
A white girl.
A Norwegian.
A Norwegian white girl.
A Norwegian white girl
Wow.
named Shanae. And there was no hood in her at all. Like it
really?
was,
She was like, "Oh, hello. How are you?"
well, she wasn't completely like that. It was just that it was in the like fields of Norway. She helped
Okay.
in the folk museum. Really nice person. If you happen to be watching this,
Yes.
nice person.
Of all the people, well, this will go live. This is live right now, and we don't have any viewers right now, which is very disappointing. Viewers were very disappointed in the ones that are not watching.
They heard I was here. Of course they left.
Sorry. I tried to find better, but unfortunately,
He
Gerald
settled.
Butler, he didn't show up, and then
Maybe he got mad because you called him Gerald. You jerk.
I
It's
like to screw with
Gerard.
him though. I like to screw with him. I'm like, "Hey, Gerald." He's like, "It's Gerard." Yeah, Gerald, how's it going?
He could kick your butt, dude.
And-
Have you seen his abs? 300? Those were real.
Right, but he also like is a chain smoker, and he lost his abs quickly after the movie was over.
Pretty sure he could still take you.
I don't know, maybe.
What do you think?
Maybe he knows a whole bunch of moves because he's been in so many action movies.
And watch so
and-
many stuntmen do it for him.
He's so good at almost hitting people. like he'll lose every fight spectacularly, but it'll look like he's winning all the way up until the final blow.
Which is when he gets punctured by arrows and dies.
I don't remember that part.
That's how they died in 300.
He got punctured by Xerxes' strong arrow.
No comment about Xerxes' strong arrow.
I'm just saying. Also, we have YouTube, so you and I can like look stuff up. Because you wanted to have like soft jazz playing in the background. Why? I don't know.
Because jazz is awesome. It's like we don't need to have jazz.
Who did anything? Oh, Lady Gaga.
No. I wasn't
I'll
talking
put
about
Lady
vocal
Gaga.
jazz. I was talking about like Miles Davis jazz.
I like jazz anyways. Why?
It's water, not vodka, I promise.
It's probably vodka, and he wants all of you to drink it, including anyone under the age of 21, and preferably anyone under the age of 10.
But preferably Norwegians named Shanae.
I like how the way the lighting is, because we have such crappy lighting. It looks like my one eye has a giant bag underneath it, and the other eye has nothing.
It's actually the way he is. I punched him in the face.
If I do this, I have two bags, and if I go like, it's lighting anyways.
Oh, by the way, I think you might find this funny. I saw a post today on Facebook that said, "You know, I just realized CrossFit is the complete opposite of Fight Club. Because once you're a part of CrossFit, you don't shut up about CrossFit."
But do you still work out? Do you still?
Well, yeah, but the workouts aren't like aggressive. It's not
Okay.
like beating the crap out of someone else, bare knuckle,
True.
or in the case of Fight Club spoilers, beating the crap out of yourself, and then people coming along and being like, "Hey, can we fight you fighting yourself?" Loophole.
Yeah, that seems so weird. Like
Hole in the plot.
looking back on Fight
Not a
Club,
loophole, plot hole.
like he's just sitting there beating them up. Like, how do you join that? How do you join? Like, hey, can I punch myself too? It's like you don't need an invitation to punch yourself.
No, they wanted to
Unless
punch
you're
him.
Joe.
I totally just brought my foot onto the screen.
That's attractive.
I like bare feet. Not like yeah.
I could put on a McDonald's commercial for loving it.
Buttermilk. It's a juicy chicken sandwich.
It's a very.
I
juicy
think that was a
chicken sandwich.
racist. I think that was a very racist commercial. The first 3 people I saw in it were black or African American, and it was about chicken.
See, now we have some background music.
We have Lady Gaga.
Yeah, well, she actually used to be really into like.
Clearly, she's still
jazz.
into jazz.
Yeah.
But is jazz into
I was
her?
very I used to completely dismiss Lady Gaga until I found out that she used to be really into jazz. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I can sort of like, I'm still gonna like hate her a little bit for everything else, but I can kind of like, I like her jazz album.
So basically, all a girl needs to do to get you to like her is suddenly come up with liking jazz. like, and you'll throw everything else out the window
Exactly.
because she's wearing like an all is blue kind of blue T-shirt.
She could be like an ex-prostitute. She could be in the. She could be.
Why
a,
would
she
you
could
complain
be,
about
she
that?
Could be a. She could be a prostitute in the middle of prostitution, and she would say she likes jazz, and I would ask her to marry me.
I think you'd probably feel a little bit of sympathy for her.
Yeah, because I've had so many tricks go wrong as a juggalo that it's been like, like I can definitely sympathize. But see, the thing is
Yeah.
I can't have like a really bulky female bouncer come and save my butt.
I was more talking about the fact that they usually don't feel good about their situation.
Some of them do, some of
Some,
them
the
don't.
exceptions generally do.
We
would
would have to
say.
see statistical data for that.
Yes, because there's totally statistics about prostitutes.
There are
happiness.
there are some stereotypes about like sex trade where like some women are abused and broken, but there are some girls that are like, oh, I'm 18 now I get to fuck other guys for money. Yay.
I'm pretty sure those aren't the rule, though.
No, it's probably not the rule, but it still is kind of weird. Like there are not prostitutes, there are sex workers, there are porn stars that have like PhDs.
Natalie Portman?
She's not a sex
It
worker.
was a joke. She's attractive, though.
Natalie Portman?
She's like homely, I guess.
Well,
She's like above, like she's not like homely, but she's like right in between that and like.
you know what
Drop dead.
you know what's kind of funny that I
To me.
realized is like half the girls that are beautiful in the 50s would actually look kind of out of place and plain today if you saw them
That's
in
because
public.
everyone everyone tries to look like them.
Oh, it's not
kind of.
that. Is that someone actually stated this, and I think it actually follows through, is that people get more attractive as time goes on.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Like the people from the 1900s are uglier than the people today, and the people from the 1500s are uglier than the people from the 1900s.
I mean, I could see that like life is getting easier, so the body doesn't really show signs of toughness. I think that would make sense. If you know
Well,
what
people
I mean.
certainly aged worse in the 50s.
Well, yeah,
and
but it's also
1900s.
like your skin would look better. Like you wouldn't have calluses on your hands and stuff. Like that's somebody
girls
that's my
like
age.
men with calloused hands.
I realize that about men. We're talking about women
we
here.
had this discussion. Yeah.
Why are you being a misogynist?
No. Yeah,
What are
like-
you doing?
I don't
Stop
know,
bringing
maybe-
men into
maybe-
the conversation.
Maybe there is a guy out there who, like, whenever he feels up a girl's hand, he's like, "Oh, not callous enough for me.
Those would be CrossFitters.
Not callous enough for me." He's like, you know what? I really want to dig this chick, and she's muscly and stuff, but like, she doesn't have the calluses. from weightlifting,
she
man.
just had more calluses on her hand.
I know.
As Gavin would say.
That's right. Right.
That was
No.
my
She was
tempted
going for a
Gavin voice.
bleached butthole. Was the thing? Like, I'm sorry, guys. She just doesn't bleach it, so otherwise she'd be great.
That was yeah. It's a butt. Get over it.
That yes. I don't know. Wouldn't you be? I would actually be a little disturbed if I married a girl and I discovered that she bleached her butthole.
I'd be disturbed to watch it. I don't know how it happens. I don't care to know. Please don't explain.
You
it
don't
to
know
me.
how you would discover that?
I know how I discover it. I don't know how they do it.
Oh, I don't know that.
And I think I would be more disturbed by seeing it happen. I don't think I'd be
Right.
disturbed.
No. But the question would be like, if you married a girl who presumably was not a sex worker, then you discovered that she had to bleach. Like, I think I would have some questions.
I would wonder why.
I would have to ask her, like, what part of you was like, you know what, I should bleach my butthole just in case I get married, and the guy that I'm with really prefers pink over brown.
That's too much.
That was the line for you? That was the line
That was the crack for me.
stating... Yeah, so guys, I have for auction right now one younger brother,
20.
age 20. Not
And it-
too broken.
And if-
Obviously, he has
actually,
some problems.
I am a virgin. So if you're looking for a
so,
virgin,
so ladies, if you're looking to auction, to buy a husband,
I could be one of your 72.
that's right. No, girls do not get, Muslim girls don't get 72 virgins when they die.
They don't.
No, if if you're a woman under Islam, you get the privilege of being one of the 72 virgins that a man gets in paradise.
If that's true, I don't know why anyone would follow that. Female would follow that. I really don't.
Well, it's either that or go to hell. So I mean,
Okay.
it's either be part of a harem or but see, the thing is, they do get to be really beautiful in paradise. They do get that, which is, I guess, they get a lot of cosmetics or whatever.
Why are you saying that all Arab women are ugly?
No, but like
I was going to say,
girls,
I'm pretty sure they have a high percentage.
no,
of beautiful
but
women.
girls like using makeup.
Yeah.
They complain about it, but the truth is, if the makeup industry is run almost entirely like the entire beauty industry is pretty much run by women and gay
Makeup's
men.
pointless.
Women and gay men.
I'm just saying. When
I'm
I went
just
to
saying.
I went to Norway, and they're like they in Sweden are like Sweden's. I know Sweden is like said to have like some of the most beautiful women. And
I told
I-
by my brother who went to Norway
No,
without me.
I went to Norway, and I can't imagine the Swedish and the Norwegians look too much like there's too much of a difference. I know I saw one person who was Swedish who looked a little bit darker than the average Norwegian, but I have to say the Norwegian women on average, there was like a high percentage of really attractive women to not so attractive, and almost none of them wore any makeup. It was like very
I am
little.
a fan of the more natural look. I will agree with you
And
there.
I think like the reasons that we thought my uncle, my dad and I thought so, like
Yeah.
our theory is it's because they're all very healthy and don't eat really crappy stuff.
But don't they all smoke?
The women do smoke a lot more than the men, actually, I think.
More
I don't
than
know.
the men.
I mean, I guess I probably just noticed it more since
Okay.
in America it's more common for men to smoke. So when you see a whole ton of broad smoking, it's just weird.
I'm so glad we're back in the 1950s. Sir.
So am I. No, but like it was that, and then the fact that I guess their accent makes them speak like kind of like at a normal level. They don't really get all high pitched and annoying. Which was
What you mean, like when they talk like this?
they just kind of like talk down here, and it was sexy.
So the women were all bases, is what you're saying?
They weren't like really low, but they weren't. They were at like a normal level. It wasn't like they were. It wasn't like this. Okay, it was like seeing a blonde, but like not a blonde that was like, oh, how you doing? Like, I mean, like Valley
I
Girl. Like, what are you
think
doing today?
That's a very California thing. Well, see, here's the problem: is that
California stereotypes.
We
the
live in
culture.
Pennsylvania, though. We live in Pennsylvania, and we live in a not college town. In fact, we do have a campus for Penn State here, but it's 20 minutes away from the city. So, like, even all the girls that are our age are almost universally either working constantly or in school.
Working as waitresses.
Yeah.
It's like the only jobs around here: retail and waitressing.
It's
Or
kind of sad, but that's the
waitering.
point. Like you're
Waiting.
20 and people normally go to college between 18 and 22 and sometimes till 28. So the most industrious women are all either 20 minutes away over in Penn State Altoona, or they're farther away in State College,
Which
or
is
they're
a college town, by the way.
over. But and plus all the attractive ones are like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna become a model because there's not any other attractive women in the world who can also become models and might be competition for me. And so
Yeah, but then the competition goes down to who eats less.
yeah, what the point? The point is like there's a higher concentration of attractive women in New York City and Los Angeles, and especially Los Angeles because it is always beach weather over there. And so, like, if you start putting on a couple pounds, like, you can't just put on a couple extra layers during the winter. It's like you've always got to be, like, maintain that fit body.
Well, but it's also part of the culture in California to care more about appearances.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying that as a Pennsylvanian who knows nothing. I have friends from California who lived there a very long time and born in California. This guy, I blame all the smog for why I'm kind of demented sometimes.
He is, and I was there in California longer than he was, and I didn't pick up nearly as much as he did.
By which he means he doesn't see the correlation. It's affected him that much.
Bro, I don't know what you mean.
Are we interviewing me about being 20?
I don't know. You're not interviewing me
No.
about being 26, so.
So what's it like to be 26?
Oh God, it sucks so bad.
Really?
I have so much regret right now.
Well, I do have an honest question for you.
Okay.
And I don't mean to be like rude.
You're
honestly.
gonna sound like a total dick right now.
I probably am. I don't mean to. I'm
probably-
curious because like
The answer is you are a dick.
I am, and
Okay,
I have
continue.
one.
What is your
little
que-
known fact?
What's your question?
Shouldn't have said that. Anyway, no, but I'm just curious. Like, you're 26.
That's correct.
You're a conservative,
You're good so far.
and you live with your father.
This is going in a direction that I didn't see this coming.
I'm just curious how that.
Was that a question?
Well, my question is, you're always talking like it seems like your whole like philosophy is you need to be self-sufficient,
yes.
and as far as I can see, you're not. And I'm not. I'm 20. I live with my mom,
Yes.
but I have a plan to become self-sufficient.
Well, so do I.
Do you? What's the
Did
plan?
I mention the company that I'm?
You did, and I'm just curious.
I'm
Okay,
literally
I
a
guess
part owner of a company that's
my-
starting up. We put in nearly $50,000 into the creation of a program that we're like going over.
I guess my bigger question is, does it bother you? Because
Yes.
it bothers me at 20.
It does bother me
It really bothers me as
I-
a 20-year-old to be living with my mom.
because when I came back from college, I actually left mom's house and I moved in with two other guys, and I rented a house together, and it is awesome.
Wasn't it more than two?
No,
Oh, it was
that was
two.
just the three of us.
Did more people come later?
No,
Okay, I guess I remember there being
no,
more people.
and it is awesome. It is
Mhm.
so awesome being like factually, like having a house where you can set your own rules, because I can't have people over, which is a little bit sad. I just want you
at
to
this
know.
house?
I just want you to know that there was probably like one girl watching this that was like, "Oh, they're kind of cute. Oh, he lives with his parents still. Never mind."
I have a reason for it. Just saying.
Okay, what was your reason?
Well, I took a year off, and because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, I didn't want to go to college and just flounder, and I wasn't really
Right, but you
interested
worked.
At the
You
time.
worked at the time.
Yeah, I got a
You
job.
you didn't just sit there and piss away your days.
I wish I wasn't. I wish I could say it was more than part time, but it was part time. And thanks, Obama, I can only work 27 hours because of your health care plan. Thank you. I love that. No, just saying. So yeah, and then I enlisted in the Navy, and I got separated after 4 weeks. Well, it started after 2 weeks because I need to get a waiver, and that was
Right.
in March, and I had to wait 6 months till I could reenlist, which is this month, on the
Okay.
28th. So that's why I'm stuck at home, and I kind of hate that I'm not as self-sufficient
Are you
as I
still
wish I
Are you
was.
still planning on reenlisting in the Navy then?
It's
like,
my plan. Yes.
That is 100% now.
It's like 99 in that there's always a chance that I might not, and I don't want to say it if I get this random, like, all of a sudden desire to do something else, because I am interested in history.
Right.
I really enjoy history more than most people probably do.
Yeah.
So that would be something that interests me, but that's more of a long run thing, and I could do the Navy and be prepared for that, more prepared for that after the short term than
Okay.
the long run.
Well, because you were originally looking at becoming a physical therapist.
It was just kind of an interest of mine because I'm interested in physical activity
That's a terrible reason to become a physical therapist.
and
I
helping
like
people.
jumping jacks and other bodily movement.
I actually hate jumping jacks. I had a workout where it was, you do, gosh, I think it was 5 minutes long, and you do 100 jumping jacks. Then you rested for like a minute and a half, and then you did a minute-long plank, and then you rested for another minute, and you started it over again for like an hour, and it sucked. Doesn't sound like it would suck, but it sucked.
And how did you feel about that?
Pain.
That you felt pain?
Yeah, it's like the workout I'm doing now which I guess like you can't see because I'm not like huge, but
I look
Is-
bigger than you right now.
you have a jacket on.
I'm also close to the camera.
Yeah,
In fact, you just look smaller than me.
I do, even though I'm taller.
He could probably arm wrestle me.
I don't know about that.
It depends on when.
I really
punch you in
suck
the
at arm
face in the middle of
wrestling.
it. Really?
Yeah,
I challenge you right now.
we're doing it left-handed
Yes.
and like this.
Yes.
You probably beat me. It's hard to tell. Like it really is, because I actually could explain it.
Well, right now you're all bicep power. It depends if I can get the overhand.
The reason
There actually is technique to arm
I
wrestling, which
realize
I'm
that
very bad at.
I have no technique, and also, what's the other reason? I don't know. Growing up, I never really had a reason to like put all my effort out, so that's something that I struggle with.
At putting forth your will.
At willing my body to do something more greater than I think it can do, like the push that athletes get.
You just have to want it more than you do.
I want you more than I do.
I'm just gonna.
I make them
Just gonna
squirm.
shift over here, over on this side of the couch.
Speaking on that note, I have a friend who's trying to breed a dog. The male's name is Squirt.
I see. And just what does he do?
Well, apparently the squirt's not working to get her pregnant.
Is that a problem?
Well, they're trying to breed, so yeah.
Maybe they should give him some Viagra.
It's not an old dog. It's a new one.
I can't help you then.
Apparently it can't learn new
This
tricks.
is not a relevant topic.
No, it's not. I just wanted to point that out.
Who are you voting for?
Oh, we're going back to this. I don't know yet. I actually don't know. I have several. I don't get it. Like I watch PJ Media. I'll have to admit, I get my news source all from them, and you can call me it a biased news source, whatever. I don't care.
It's okay.
But it just seems like they're wishy-washy on who they like. Like at one moment some guys like Trump, and then at another moment it seems like
Well,
they only like.
the whole crew doesn't have to simultaneously all like the same person.
Well,
at the
that's what
same
I'm
time.
saying. It seems like it's the same people. Okay, I should say the only person who said that he likes Trump is John, the guy who does pole position. I don't know his name.
Oh, I don't know.
John Phillips? I think it's John
Sounds
Phillips.
right.
I think it's something Phillips. And I mean, I agree. I like the brashness of him. I like Carla Fiorina better because she has class.
Apparently I think she might have slanted eyes. Not like Asian, but like literally like one eye is like this.
Oh my gosh, she can't be president.
Like-
I changed
like
my
this.
mind completely.
I'm just saying, Trump said like, look at that woman, and then I looked at a picture of her face, and I was like, oh my. It's like when you realize that Tom Cruise, like half of his pictures, his teeth are so crooked that there's like one tooth in the very center of his
And
face.
it ruins how you look at him.
Yes.
It's like you
it-
used to be attractive, Tom Cruise, until I learned about your teeth.
It's okay. Look, it's not totally unattractive. It's just not as attractive as
It's
it could be.
uniquity, John. It's uniqueness. Stop tooth shaming him.
but one of my buddies made a comparison that you would probably be able to reference or get with because of your historical understanding, which is that Trump is actually very similar in his personality to Churchill.
I would say personality-wise, maybe, but I think there was more to Churchill than Trump because Churchill was a proven leader on the battlefield. I believe. I think he was an officer. in
Right.
the
Well,
British War.
well, Trump is a proven
Well, I realize he's a
businessman.
proven business leader.
But I mean, they both switched parties frequently, like multiple times before they were called upon. Churchill was kind of loud and brash and a bit pompous, and there were a lot of people who didn't take him seriously. And it's pretty much widely agreed now at this point that if the British government hadn't waited so long before giving him control, that the British Empire might have like survived much better under
Churchill.
against the Nazis than it did.
Mm-hmm. That was weird. It was really a random
That
change
doesn't
there.
sound like jazz at all. That's not jazz.
I would agree,
You
but the
continue
biggest difference
talking.
I think the biggest difference between Churchill and, I mean, I don't really know Donald Trump's childhood, but Churchill like worked to make himself a better person. And your mouse is over the screen. Does that matter? Do they see
No,
that?
no one can see
Okay.
the mouse. Continue.
It's on his lapel. I think. Is that your lapel?
Right here.
It's like a jacket mole.
You okay?
Money,
continue.
money, money. Well, Churchill was a very learned man. I think that's the biggest difference between him and Trump.
You
Like,
mean he was
obviously,
more eloquent.
well, it's not just that. Trump knows about business, and he obviously knows about other stuff, but he wasn't, like, Churchill was a very knowledgeable man and an accomplished writer. He actually wrote a history book. I think.
Hey, Trump did write the Art of the Deal.
I know, it's his favorite book.
I know, and he's read the Bible and he likes it, but he can't quote any.
And if you are wondering, he does have the number of the man who wrote that book, The Art of the Deal. It's in his phone. He has all their numbers.
Oh, that's. Do you know that there was a quote that Trump that came out by Trump recently? It's I will be so good at winning. I will be so good at winning that you'll get bored of winning.
Wow.
Which is I want to like him, but at the same time, I don't know if I can necessarily take seriously a guy whose entire platform is like, I'm going to be really good at this. Let me tell you, I am going to be so good at the military, it will blow your minds. I'm like, really? No, I do
Yeah.
like his tax plan.
What is his
It's
tax
it's a
plan?
1, 5, 10, 15 tax plan.
I
Where
Sorry.
it's like if you make under $30,000, you only get taxed 1% of your income. If it's, I think it's under like 60-ish thousand that you only pay 5%, and then 10, and I think you have to make over $1 million to have to pay 15%.
I would say it's a better plan than ours, but I still like the sales tax only plan better.
As long as it doesn't turn into a value-added tax, because that just.
Like a higher tax on
I
higher
would actually
value?
prefer a flat rate, because a flat rate is because the problem with sticking with the progressive tax is, even though it's kind of it kind of like hits the whole fairness angle of it, what it actually ends up it still sets the stage. The original progressive tax was between 1 and 7%, with 7% being on people who effectively at the time made today's equivalent of $1 million. And of course, from that original 1 to 7% tax plan came all that is the 80, I think it's like 100,000 ish pages of the tax code, because it started off progressive. If it had started off as a flat tax, we might not have that same problem that we have today, or at least it would be manifested very differently.
Yeah, but I just don't see the government's purpose in telling you how like that, saying that they have a right to your money because you made it.
They don't.
They basically do. They say
There is no there. Look, it's a law. They have the right in the sense that there is a law written about it. There is no naturalistic argument that they can provide which justifies the taking of your money.
yeah, but the law is written under the assumption that they should be able to take your money.
I can't help you there.
But I mean, I see them more having a
Well,
purpose
no, it was
between the
passed
transaction.
as an amendment of the Constitution.
I realize that it had to have been.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what the assumption is it's in the Constitution.
Oh,
I mean, if the Constitution
There's never
said-
been a constitutional amendment
the-
that was wrong
if
and
the-
needed to be repealed.
I'm not saying that
Ever.
it doesn't need to be repealed. I'm just saying that it is in effect right now, because I mean, like if the government passed a constitutional amendment that said all Jews can be killed at will, then it would then be legal in America to kill all the Jews. Literally.
I realize this,
I'm not saying that you should kill all the Jews.
but that's not how
literally.
that's not how it was set up to be. Though.
I mean, you might be able to prevent the next 9/11 by killing all the Jews.
that's not how it was set up to be, though.
What?
Like the whole idea of the Constitution wasn't to like establish necessarily the law of the. I mean, okay, it was the law of the land, but the idea was to set
It
up
was.
a limited government that would only make it so that the existing states could survive together.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't like it is now, where it's like, hey, we
Its
need to
own
petition
entity.
the government to control everyone, or we need to lobby the government to control everyone. Like if you read, I have to admit I didn't finish the book, but what I did read of it in de Tocqueville's book Democracy in America, he makes the claim that the power in the United States is actually in the township.
Interesting. I mean, I think
Because-
that the government should be as localized as possible. In fact, when it comes to, like, for example, business regulations, I think that there should be no such thing as government regulations on business. I think that most of them should actually be at the city or state level, or even lower,
Well, yeah, and that's how it used to be.
until those
And-
dicks in the government.
Caused the Civil War.
They did. They freaking did.
I'm
I mean,
kinda-
like, I discussed it. Like, literally, if it weren't for the federal government and the Supreme Court, we would not have had the Civil War. Like, it was the Civil War, it was the Supreme Court that made it legal in the first place for indefinite holding of slavery. There was a Supreme Court case, I forget the name, but a black
man
slaveholder.
wanted. No, wasn't it a black man that wanted to be a slave?
No, oh my God, no.
I
No.
don't know. Oh, it was a black slaveholder.
No,
that
they
wanted
had
a slave?
they had contractual slavery where you would hold someone for
Yeah, like
a certain amount of time.
people would come over from across the ocean and
Indebted-
serve you for like 7 years.
Yes. And one of the men left and said his contract was null and void, and the slave owner sued for permanent ownership of his person, and the Supreme Court granted it. And from that judgment came the ability to indefinitely hold slaves and hold their children as slaves, etc.
Mm-hmm.
That was that part. And then there was the government laws. I think they were both federal and state that basically there was the law that prevented slaves from being freed, an anti-emancipation law.
Yeah, that's
which was
actually-
totally BS.
That's actually why Thomas Jefferson never got rid of his slaves.
Yeah.
And
he
George
actually-
Washington.
They both went broke
Because they couldn't.
because they couldn't
I
afford to
don't
take
know if
care
I
of
heard
them.
that about Thomas Jefferson. I know George Washington. I
Like,
think it
because they
was,
tried to
suffered
teach
from-
them, they tried to keep them like they tried, despite being slave owners, they tried to be nice about it
Well,
because they legally couldn't.
George Washington, from what I thought, didn't buy slaves. He inherited.
no, he
them.
inherited them.
Thomas Jefferson did buy slaves. He's odd, but
Kind
I
of a-
kind of like the guy.
Kind of a douchey slave owner in
It
that
was
sense.
It was weird. Yeah.
But okay, so there was that law. Then there was a law that was actually another form of slavery where if a slave escaped from a slave owner, and this was especially in the South, then the whole town was forced to help hunt down that slave without free of charge. The slave owner wasn't hiring the people of the town to go hunt down the slave. The people of the town were obligated by law. The men of the town were obligated by law to help chase down that slave. So if you couple together the fact that, according to the Supreme Court, which made slavery, permanent slavery illegal in the first place, and then the fact that people weren't allowed to emancipate their slaves, coupled with the fact that if a slave did escape, the whole town had to hunt him down, it made it so that in the South there were no free black men. If you had deleted all three of those things, slavery would have never been an issue in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you had the Supreme Court and not those laws, slavery wouldn't have been an issue, because eventually there would have been enough emancipation of slaves and slaves buying their freedom that after a certain point, after just a few years, there would be enough free black slaves down in this, or free, no longer slave blacks in the South, that a black person who was a slave could escape and hide amongst the free black people. But because of these two sets of laws, and the Supreme Court decision, it virtually guaranteed that there was no such thing as a free black slave in the South. That's why there was no place that a black person could escape to in the South. That's why the Underground Railroad was necessary in the first place. And
Yeah.
then, of course, there was laws passed in the North requiring the return of a captured black slave back to the South.
I don't think that they followed those laws all the time.
It
though.
depended.
Well, yeah, of course it
But
does.
yeah, but in every single case, you have the whole Civil War is caused by the federal government and the Supreme
yeah.
Court.
Well, I
in
mean-
in its entirety.
I can't remember where. I think it was
Bunch
on a
of
movie
dicks.
that made the comment that before the Civil War, the United States used to be called the United. It used to be said that the United States are, and now it's the United States is, which goes back to what we were saying. Like, the whole idea was like you had the system where the power's in the bottom, and then it's basically like the township was the main power, and then over that you'd have, I guess the county would be next. I think it was the magistrate, they said. and that was to like basically pass all the laws that pertained to the county, and didn't go over the township's authority. And then it gradually went up to the federal government, whose main purpose was to protect the country as a whole, but not to step on the powers of the states. And that's actually, I was reading about voting rights and the history of voting rights. Voting
Right.
rights used to be determined by the state.
Yeah.
Actually, I think there were states before male suffrage was universal that allowed
and
universal male suffrage.
And universal male suffrage only came with the draft.
It didn't say about that. I
believe so.
I've heard that, but this
Yeah, that was the justification. That was
site
like
I know,
like
but I've heard
since-
it. But the site that I was reading on it didn't
because
say that.
before male suffrage, it was basically landowners.
Yeah,
it was
and
mostly. It was usually
Which
landowners.
included some women.
Yes, it did include some women, but it was mostly either if you were rich or if you held a large amount of land.
It was basically anyone who had stake in society. If you
Yeah.
paid enough taxes or owned enough land to have stakes in society.
in other words, if you were giving back to society.
And I know this isn't really relevant, and you don't know the conversation, YouTube or whatever this is.
Don't
No, I'm
acknowledge
just
him.
saying. I just did. I acknowledge
You're
you.
pretty.
I acknowledge
You're
you.
a very precious.
I
person.
accept that you're real, even though you're not. But you know how you mentioned that we don't really know what client-patron relationship was not that long ago?
Well, that was in a whole different discussion.
I know, but it's
continue.
related, because when I was reading that de Tocqueville book, he makes the comment that in America,
Democracy in America.
that one, yes, that famous book. He makes the comment that in America, the landowners don't have patronage.
They don't.
But I can't remember exactly the reason. But I was saying, like you had said, that was you made it seem like that was an ancient concept, but it's not.
Well,
Because obviously he knew
it's-
what patronage was. And
yes,
it was
back
common
in
to
the 1500s.
1800s,
Back in the
1830s
1800s, when he said it did not happen in America.
in America. But I still think
I'm
there
just
is.
saying it's not a modern thing. That's the thing.
I don't think it's.
Time
I mean,
patronage.
I would almost think that it's not as much of a modern concept just because we don't study those kinds of things anymore
Yeah.
and don't
Well, I
think
mean-
about our relationships like that. Because
No,
not-
it's because
I would think you'd find
because mankind has so pulled out of the mud, as it were, that the need for a client-patron relationship is almost gone. Before you would have like master and apprentice, which was kind of a client-patron sort
But
of
isn't that
relationship.
what managers and employees do?
No,
How?
no. That's a worker.
Why?
That's a worker-employee relationship. It's not the same.
How is it different?
It's different because the employee works for the employer.
I thought that's what happened in the client-patron relationship.
No,
Okay, I've been getting that wrong. I'm
you have.
glad I haven't mentioned that to anyone else.
Except for you.
All of you guys, the internet. Yeah.
We're just gonna, like I said, for sale. He's on special right now for the low price of all my college loans.
That's not a low price.
Actually, no, I actually paid them all off.
If you're wondering, you can hack into Sally Mae and find out.
Don't do that.
Or the IRS.
Don't.
I
also
am
do
not
that.
condoning that activity if you do that.
This is kind of derailed now.
We've been
Anyways,
derailed.
the federal government is the reason why the Civil War happened. In
and
case
why
you're
the
wondering.
United States have gone downhill.
Yes, in part. Well, also there's the whole part where because life is so easy. That's what I was gonna say. Is the reason why client-patron relationships are not necessary today is because we have so much prosperity in the United States that, like, even if you are in the bottom quintile, and the bottom 20% of American incomes, right? Even if you are de facto in poverty in America, you statistically still have, on average, a TV, a refrigerator, some kind of place with air conditioning, a car. Like back in the days, if you were in the bottom quintile, you were homeless. If you were in the bottom 2 quintiles, you were homeless. You go back far enough in time, or you were living in a mud shack.
Yeah, but you could still hunt
And
freely.
let me put it to you this way. If you had to choose, Joe, between being dirt poor 50 years in the future or rich 100 years in the past, which would you be?
I'd probably choose for a little over 100 years because we're coming up on depression years right now. 100 years
Still.
ago.
Well, let me
Well,
put
okay, I should put
Look, and let me put it to you this way. If you're poor 50 years in the future, you're going to be a poor person with a flying car and hologram technology.
Yeah, but I won't have any pride. Like if
You
you
can be
read,
poor
if
and
you,
have pride.
No, yeah, but not nowadays. Most poor people, it doesn't seem like I'm not saying.
I know a
I'm
lot.
generalizing.
You are making a generalization.
Okay,
I mean,
I
I'm not saying
apologize.
you have to be the statistic. You just have to be a poor person 50 years from now.
I mean, I don't know. I've read books about like people that were poor in the 1800s, and they seem to have more self-respect than a lot of people do nowadays.
I'm not
Even non-poor people. Like I'm not even talking about poor people right now. I'm talking about non-poor people.
Do you mean just the culture itself?
Yeah, they were like they wouldn't accept help from people
I was more
because they
talking
were
about the
caring
state of
about
technology,
themselves
but okay.
being self-sufficient.
But
I honestly,
you're,
I would probably prefer being poor 100 years ago.
well, you've now died from dysentery.
I like dysentery. I could eat my own.
I'm
crap.
just saying, like if you go 100 years in the future, there's no cancer. More than likely, there's no cancer. There's no leukemia. Well, okay, that's a type of cancer. There's no Hodgkin's disease. There's no.
By the way, there's no cancer
sickle cell
and no cancer.
anemia. There's no
I'm-
the different maladies of
I'm in a lot of danger of being afflicted by sickle cell. Just in case you were wondering, John. There's a high statistic.
Black
that I'll
people watching care about this, okay?
I'm
That's a
just
problem.
saying it's not relevant to me.
And all the Islamists
Not
are
saying I
dead.
don't care.
Or we're all speaking Arabic. One of the two.
If we're all speaking Arabic and we're in a jihadi situation, wouldn't want to be there.
But I'm just pointing out,
Just
like,
because I
I'm
don't
just
believe that
pointing out, like,
religion.
100 years from now, or even 50 years from now, cultural decline or incline aside, the technology will progress to the point where it is almost universally better to be a poor person in the future than a rich person in the past.
Only in terms of comfort.
Not just comfort, like medical
This is-
capacity, lifespan.
Yeah, but all those things
Health?
affect culture so strongly.
Kind of yes and kind
Like
of no.
we don't have a healthy view of death now that we like have all these medicines to cure it.
I mean, I guess if healthy views of death are generated by watching your family die from malaria,
Is that common in the United States? Because I thought we
it
were talking
was
about
until we
our-
eliminated it with medicine, Joe.
What I'm saying is,
Technology, it's great.
I'm not saying technology's bad. I'm just saying like, I don't know. I just don't think we like really view the world as it is. We try to control it and make it
I
seem
don't
like
think
it's less
anyone
wild.
has. I think very few people have been able to see the world as it is.
Yes. I don't know. Kind of still in
Your
the
time
process.
has run out.
We're done. Now,
So
on that
it
note,
just died. You're dead now.
I mean, I'm an anti.
Dead now.
I kind of agree with C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien about that,
About what?
being anti-industrialist.
No, I don't.
I didn't say you did. I kind of do.
I mean, God gave man the ability to think and the ability to better his situation.
Yes.
And he did that for a reason. It wasn't so that we could, like, invent all the coolest stuff in the world and be like, oh, well, time to go pound rocks into the sand again.
I'm not saying we have to pound rocks into sand, but I think it affects how we view life. I mean, not that, but there are things like driving long distances instead of having to cover that and really feeling the accomplishment of moving across the plains because we drove 7 hours instead of moved for 7 days.
Yes, you can spend the other 6 days actually doing something productive.
Depends on what you define productive as.
Well, apparently it's my version of productive is greater than crossing mountains really slowly.
That's kind of the accomplishment of climbing Mount Everest, is not using a car to drive up it.
Well, you can set a personal thing for like, oh, I climbed this mountain now, I'm so great. But I mean, you see what I'm saying.
I realize that you are more productive, but I mean, I don't know.
I think the whole it seems to me like you're giving the whole argument like, if you replace a job of man, he loses his soul a little bit.
What do you mean? What type of job?
I don't know. But like basically there are people who believe that the easier you make it for a person to go about life, the less they have to accomplish, but I think that's false.
Well, obviously his accomplishments would change.
Well, look, it is an accomplishment to be able to generate fire without a lighter, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also an accomplishment to refine the cure for smallpox in a laboratory.
I get
and
that.
in order for you to have the cure for smallpox in a laboratory, making fire has to not be a big deal.
I get that.
Okay. And I'm not sure what you're saying.
Well, it's not really not a big deal, because if you're in I guess, sorry, I kind of blanked on that. But I mean, if you're out in the wilderness, making fire without a lighter is kind of a big deal, more of a big deal than smallpox. And I think the problem is, what? You're kind of worried about yourself. That's how it works when you're in the wild and trying to survive.
I would rather be in the laboratory curing malaria.
What
and
I'm saying is
smallpox
people have this false illusion that our country is like set in stone and there's no way we can be overtaken or there won't be an apocalypse, and something like, what's that movie where the internet or all electricity dies and it basically goes into like the wood cutting days? Or the show Revolution.
Sure.
And I think those are skills that we've lost, and we've become more afraid of nature because we don't understand it.
I do think that's true, but I don't think that's I think that's more of a cultural issue than anything else.
And I think it's a cultural issue that's actually happened before the Industrial Revolution.
Well,
personally.
what's the problem though? I mean, is the problem just the loss of old knowledge?
I think the problem is that we don't I don't know, we don't really go out in nature.
Well, you
much.
could go out in nature.
I do.
I do.
I don't know.
I do.
I'm still I haven't really okay, you're getting me out on a subject that I haven't really fully gone into and really fleshed out my own thought processes on it.
Well, look, there's some people who spend their whole life doing stuff that essentially puts them away from nature. I don't think they should be shamed for that any more than one person should be shamed for going, back to their roots and learning, about nature and maybe foregoing a higher advanced physics knowledge because of it. I mean, at some point you have to define, what you want to learn, because there's so much knowledge in mankind that you literally cannot learn it all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so, it's the same thing like saying, oh, we need to learn, I'm not going to say that a person should learn chemistry any more than a person should learn physics, any more than a person should learn advanced mathematics or biology or geology. I think of all the things that are important a person should be able to do is basic repairs around their house and some knowledge of history.
So you don't think it's that people should know how to defend themselves on the street?
That's up to them. I mean, that is a risk you have to take, because there are a lot of people who do live lives where they don't have to, they just happen to fall in that statistical outlier where they just don't encounter any violence in their lives. We live in a place where the chances of us encountering violence, much less being the focus of that violence, is very small. If we move to New York City, that chance is going to be much higher. So if we lived in New York City, then it would be much more appropriate or necessary for us to learn how to defend ourselves than out here.
I still think it's a necessary skill to have.
I think it would be a good skill to have.
I
don't
think
it's-
I think it changes who you are. I think it gives you a confidence that you wouldn't normally have, which is what the movie Fight Club is about. Kind
well,
of. Except for all the weird psychological parts.
aside from the guy having severe sleep problems
And really
an alter
weird sex
ego.
problems.
Yes, Joe, look, if a girl ever asks you to have sex with her while wearing rubber gloves, I would say don't. I would say that you might want to reevaluate where your relationship with this person is headed.
Like I said, I've never had that situation.
Also, don't do what he did, like take all your condoms and throw them in the trash when you're done. That's the trash can.
I don't remember that.
Not your head, but it's
There's a lot of trash in my head, though.
It's not my fault.
It is his fault.
It's not my
One
fault.
could actually blame him. I'm being serious.
I'm blaming you for everything.
Older
then.
brother. Word.
He just distracted me from all the best part of lives.
What are we listening to? This is not jazz.
No, this is Robert DeLong.
Don't know who that is. Don't care. Change it, please.
We're gonna let it finish out.
I'd rather listen to postmodern rock.
I can't help you there. Actually, I can. Anyways, you can say stuff now.
I think one of the skill sets that should be taught is basic survival. Like, even if it's just very basic survival skills. And it's not.
I think it would be good for the constitution of a man, but I don't think it's necessary.
I wouldn't say we should legalize it. I just think it should be something that every man should do. Every man must learn jujitsu.
In my state, every man must be a black belt in Krav Maga.
I will be the best president you've ever seen.
In order for you to even enter my state, you must pass a test where you must fight 3 ninjas at once while ordering Domino's pizza flawlessly.
You can't even stutter.
That's right. If you breathe wrong, you're dead.
And you have to speak in a northern England, New England. That's not northern England. New England accent.
No, those people are pussies. We don't accept them.
I know a New Englander who ran away from home for a year and a half because he thought the FBI was after him.
I think that person might have issues.
He's actually really smart and really funny.
Okay. Smart except for the pact where he has like a conspiracy theory.
No. He witnessed a crime, and he's like saw these robbers, and the cop showed up, and he just for some reason thought they were after him because he saw it. He was like in his teens, and he ran away from home for like a year and a half. And then he came back, and the FBI did want him, but it was to ask him if it was the man. If they showed him a picture and asked him if this was the man he saw, and he said yes. And they're like, okay, we're done.
You think how long was he gone?
Like a year and a half.
You think at some point he would call home and be like, "Hey, so are the cops looking for me? What do they want?" Oh, okay. They only just want to. Okay.
I think he
never mind.
figured if he called home, he would get caught. I don't know. I heard this story secondhand. I should mention.
You should ask him and confirm because this is. Highly
If you
suspect.
met this person, you would understand why I could believe this story to be true.
Is he like that?
He's got crazy stories. Like he once scared a bear off by jumping in the air, which is actually a thing you can do with black bears. Obviously, make yourself bigger and loud. Unless they have cubs, they
How does that relate to leaving for a year and a
Okay,
half?
if you met this person, heard his stories, and saw his demeanor, you wouldn't be surprised. You really wouldn't.
Is he just really brazen?
No, he's actually very nice, but
Okay.
kind, I should say.
That doesn't answer my question.
I don't know.
You're not helpful.
He's got pretty awesome stories, though.
I do have a friend who wants to live in an RV.
I want to live in a what's it called?
A tiny house?
Those, yeah.
I would do that.
Like in Norway, I saw these houses that their roofs were it looked like birch bark, flattened until the bottom. Like it was like pieces of birch bark laid over top of each other.
Okay.
And then the bottom curved up, and then the roofs were covered in dirt and grass. And it was like long grass. It was pretty cool, actually.
I mean, were there dirt floors inside?
Wooden floors. It was on modern houses as well as old houses.
I don't think I would want that.
I would.
I like carpet. It's nice.
This was the roof.
You said there were wooden floors. I like carpet.
I'm talking
It's
about, okay,
nice.
the ones I went into, because apparently Norwegian kings enjoy collecting old buildings. And there's a collection of old buildings that we visited, and those were the ones I went into, but I actually saw modern homes with these grass roofs. Roofs, something like that.
Continue.
And I think that's a really good idea.
I have no
I like
comment.
overgrown grass anyway.
So Joe,
Don't make that weird.
are there any girls that you have a crush on?
There was a really cute waitress we saw at Marzoni's who's a vegan.
Right, but she's a vegan.
So I could live with that.
I'm sure you could live with a lot of things, Joe.
I live with your mom.
You do. I don't take offense to that.
You shouldn't.
So, did you hit on her?
The waitress?
Yeah.
Not like hardcore.
You flirted?
Probably.
Did she give you her number?
No.
Dead.
I'm planning on re-enlisting in 17 days. I don't want to get a relationship right now.
No, but you can still flirt with her.
I did.
Again.
Did I stutter?
You could flirt with her again.
Hey, I want your number because I really want to flirt with you again. I don't want to go anywhere with it. I just want to flirt with you. If I wanted to do that, I'd do what you do and get on Tinder
I do not
or
use Tinder right now.
OkCupid or Twitter.
You're like overpowering the mic, dude.
I'm trying. Sorry.
Don't do that.
This one's not mine.
Yeah,
Hashtag I don't care. Hashtag all Black Lives Matter.
No, but what you could do is you could go on OkCupid and then whatever place they assign you to, just start looking for people there.
They assign you a place? Really?
Yes.
I don't know how it works. I've
Like-
never used a dating site.
No, like
Except for Christian Mingle. That's a joke. I haven't used that. I don't know if it counts.
good. It's not a very good place.
Have you been on there?
No,
How do you know?
I heard.
I feel like you're
Stories.
just judging
I
it.
heard
I feel like
stories.
you're full of crap.
I am judging it.
And I don't think it has anything to do with actual stories.
No, look. I have heard stories, but that's besides the point.
Beside the point.
It's like weird.
I guess it is both ways. I don't know.
I think I tried to look at it once, and it sent me to like a weird porn site.
And
And then I was like, okay, never mind.
so it's that kind of party.
No, but like if they like for example, if they send you to Japan, you could just look up like Japanese singles.
Oh.
I've actually found a fair number of Filipino singles in the Philippines, which is a shame because they seem really like really fun people. But I was like, oh, hi, you're too far away from me, but good luck.
My friend who's part Filipino is pretty fun. He's a guy though, so it's
He's
not
also dating someone.
Not that kind of fun.
He has a girlfriend.
No name dropping.
I didn't drop any names. Unlike someone I know.
You can cut that out.
It's live, brother.
Is it?
It's dude. It's live.
Dude, no one's watching. Do
It's,
we have a
it's-
viewer?
It's live. See the upper hand corner?
Hey, it says we have one viewer. Does that count as a real viewer?
Yes, it's a real person.
Hi, viewer.
But see, that's
What?
no. Just drink.
I'm thirsty.
Just drink.
I need
Just
to watch
just
this.
Drink.
The outside of this is gross.
Just drink. Just drink.
You're getting water on the mic, you idiot.
Just drink.
Stop.
I'm not actually trying to make it splash everywhere. I'm just trying to make you choke.
You did make me splash everywhere, you jerk.
Good.
It's an Nalgene. What did you expect?
You know why the hole is that big, right?
Why is the hole this big?
It's so when you're climbing up to like really high peaks and you need to take a piss, but you don't want to whip your dick out into the cold, frosty mountain air, you can whip it into that.
I don't believe you.
It's true.
I don't believe you.
It's true.
Really?
Yes.
They should make like a hose that goes down your pant leg for those expeditions.
The viewer's gone.
Way to go.
It's your fault.
Is it?
Yes,
Why?
because
I don't blame them.
I wouldn't either.
I feel like no one watches these.
You need like another audience for, like, you need a larger thing, and this would be like a side thing.
Oh, like Bill Whittle's thing,
Yes.
where he just talks in front of a microphone in a really cool place with Star Trek posters.
Yes,
Star
exactly.
Trek.
No, because the Stratosphere Lounge is actually the smallest thing. Like his time on targets are bigger. Well, I don't know if those are bigger, but his firewall stuff is bigger. His stuff with PJTV is bigger.
I don't like his firewall.
Really?
Opening.
I do.
His opening? I like the show. I don't like his opening.
This is the fire. He looks
He's
too
just like-
excited. He's like, "This is the
No, but it's
firewall."
like he's so excited, but he's like his demeanor is so like I don't know, it's not like excited, like physically excited enough, I guess. He's like, "This is the firewall." And it's just this like obviously fake flame that flies up.
Well, of course, it's a fake flame. It's a work in process, bruh.
Well, I just feel like it should be at least a Billy Mays thing if you're going to do that.
We should go to Sheets.
Are you serious right now?
Yes,
I don't have shoes.
that's fine.
Okay.
Let's
Why
go.
are we like doing this?
Because I
we
want to
just
get
gonna-
some food.
Oh.
No,
We're
we're not
just
going to
gonna-
leave it running. This has been Brother on Brother, episode 1. Bye.
And it's not a porn show.
You're a porn show.
That's what they tell me.